Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming Landscape Podcast. As usually, we also have Alumio with us. Hello, Alumio.
Hello, hello. Nice to be here after a long while. I guess we do sort of owe a little explanation as to why it's been so long.
Yes, it's like seven months. July. It's like
Seven,
six,
something
7.
like that, 6, 7 months. Yeah. On my end, personally, it's just a massive like pickup in work. This like the level of because we had a proper release of the software, like a whole IT redesign thing that we've been working on for like 2 years. So that came out like to the public, and then it was just a lot of support, and I ended up working a lot of extra hours,
Hmm.
and sometimes even on the weekends, to just like get stuff done and arranged. Then I also moved the house at the end of July, so it was all that big amount of like private life stuff to do.
Yeah, work, moving, all that, and especially because I also in that time I think something also happened with my life. Like I think I got a promotion on my job. I had to do more work. Then I switched job. So it was just happening so many things for both of us.
It was a lot of things. Well, not really much was lost in honesty. I don't think from what
No.
you've been telling me every now and then, and from what I've been seeing, it's nothing like massive happened. Was what happened? Maybe like release of New World. That was like the was
Yeah.
that was like the only potential big thing,
Release
and
of
we
New
see
World and the release date of Lost Ark, so
yeah.
which is next month. But yeah. But for this episode, we are doing a special episode. We're doing because I know if you're a normally listener, you know we always talk about all the great gaming news for the MMOs and so on. So you probably expect like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hear all the new things. But no, not today actually, because today it's all about the game called Corepunk. And Corepunk is a new top-down MMORPG, which we have talked about a few times. But because we last time made an episode back in July, we actually have been skipping 4 news updates about Corepunk. So we are gonna catch up on those, talk about what have happened one by one, and just getting me and Alumio's comments on it. So we're just gonna, if you actually like watching this on YouTube, you will be seeing that we just switched the scene and we actually gonna be able to see something on the screen now. So the first news, we're just gonna drop out in a minute, Alumio. The first news we actually got in August was that they showed us the new hero customization. And so Alumio, feel free to let me know what you actually what you think about it.
I think there's 2 points about it because if I remember at the time that this came out, it was the one of the expected closed beta dates, I believe. So it was supposed to be, we're reaching the 25th of August, I believe, and it's beta is almost here, beta is almost here, and then it wasn't here, but they pushed it back, and they basically gave us this video. A lot of people didn't like it, not the actual video itself, but issue with the everything around it, so to speak, because it was a delay, and then all they gave us, quote unquote, was the delay video with some very minor like background shots and the character creation video. Um, Personally, I liked it. There's there's nothing to get like super excited about. What we got from it was maybe what I think there was a snippet that you can see towards the end of when they actually create the character, where it says that your starting location is like space or something. So I think so, something along those lines. Um,
Was that an end of the category?
I think it's towards the end when they create like an orc. It's not. It might not be right at the end, but like
Oh,
three
here.
quarters in, because you can see. I
Yeah, there.
believe you can see space in there. There was that thing. I believe, at least on the Discord, it sparked some discussions around like the armors or how the armors look, like the jiggling. Um, and I think the biggest one was around why certain heroes slash classes and the third weapon specializations of each of the shown heroes were locked, and you can see them. They have a locked symbol on them.
Mhm.
There was it was a curious thing. So there was people saying that, oh, it's just the prototype version they had, so they're just like locked because they're not ready, or it's the actual like most polished build they have, but those classes aren't ready to be in that build yet. Whatever, or if this is a private, like an alpha build for the devs only, why is it like why the need to make like the locked items, like the locked icons, and lock them? Like, what's the point of it if of like going through the trouble of doing all that a little bit? Say a little bit. I don't know how little it is. Doing that extra work of implementing that locking feature. Like, what's the point of it if it's only for the devs? But there's a lot of like a discussion around it. Personally, I hope that that was just because it's a test build and they don't have them ready yet. They didn't have them ready on the build they used, and it's not something like certain specs or whatever need to be unlocked. But I'm very doubtful it's that, because they never mentioned anything like that. There was never any wording or any quotes, I believe, of saying that you needed to unlock them like that.
Like it sparks a very like it makes me very worried because, for example, if you want to play like the champion,
Yeah,
then the spec they show is locked right now is actually the tank spec. So if
yeah,
someone were like, "Ah, I want to be champion tank," and if the devs are like, "Well, we are forcing you to go max level, and then you can respec to it and have to start or leveling again," that would be like, wow. So,
because it's not just that. Because even if you see on the left there, like the Pain Reaper and the Paladin and the Dwarf, they have a locked icon like on the whole hero.
yeah,
Um, so it's like that's pretty much what makes me think that it is not going to be like that when it actually comes out. It might be during the beta. I don't know. The last time they mentioned what heroes are going to be available in the beta was back in September 2020, I believe, and they said they're going to have 6 heroes on there. Um, and I believe at that point they hadn't revealed the like specs and the classes, because that happened in December 2020. Um,
well,
so yeah, go ahead.
imagine if all these locks is because they're behind a paywall.
That would be quite the outrage. Like, if that was actually something, I don't think they would. If they're going out of their way to say no founder packs, like we're not gonna take your money if it's not ready yet, and we're not gonna have any boosters or pay to win on our shop, and then they turn around and pull this, would be quite a hit to the people that were respectful of
D-
their financial decisions.
Definitely, it has to be something internally, but still, it's like kind of odd because if it's only developers plays the game, I mean, yeah, why do they need locks on them then?
Yeah. Um,
But maybe it's
but
because they are doing, the family test and friend test ready.
yeah, it might have been that they had that planned already. Um, they had the plans, the idea to do that. They already knew they were gonna have to like delay it and again and do that at some point. So maybe it's in preparation for that, like you said. Um,
Mm, yeah,
Hopefully those aren't in place when the like general, like the public closed beta happens.
yeah,
But we'll see. I guess we'll see.
yeah. But yeah, for my comment, I also like the character creation really surprised me, like how good it looks and just it. It also changed who I wanted to main because I was like going for probably the paladin, but after seeing how the warmonger looks like, it just changed my main in 2 seconds. Like I want to play the Warmonger
Yeah.
now ASAP.
I think there's like even a shot in there where his shield is like a car door. So there's a lot of like little things like that, humorous things like that that I don't know, just gives life to the game, even in a character creation.
Yeah,
I just think
definitely.
it's very good. Yeah.
Okay.
There was like a quite before we move on from this video specifically, there was a few like past shots before this video came out. There were a few shots that we seen in like in the delay videos uh
Yeah.
where we get to see the character creation. So I think we got to see one where it was in a back alley.
Yeah.
Then you have the one from the original trailer, which was like in a mine
Mm.
or something. But that was like before they separated into male and female per each hero and like changed the race of some of them, etc. But I'm wondering if this is going to be is this the final um, character creation screen, or if there is like something that changes the background. Like I'm not sure.
I
They just went through different ways and then finished on this one.
I have to be honest. I think they should remove like having both the male and female next to each other. They
Yeah,
should just have like one and then a female male button next to it.
yeah. That was a bit of a weird decision from the point of view of like a consumer, where like it doesn't make sense from usability side. It doesn't make sense that I'm technically picking a whole new character, which is the same as the other character, but
Yeah.
just a different gender. Um, but it could be just a need or a downside of how they implemented the characters, of how their backend system works with their characters, where before they were specific characters. They didn't have a gender, like you couldn't pick male or female. If you picked Bomber, for example, you were going to be a female. And how it was implemented was you have a specific model on that character, and then like you have the abilities attached to that character, etc. And the potential amount of extra work to change that, like the structure of how they have the back end of their game working with the characters, might have not warranted an easier implementation where they just create another slot for this another character that you can pick from, which is the same thing but just a different model. Um,
Mm.
but who knows? Who knows?
But
It,
I just got like, if you normally watch games which is an alpha, which is like this is a pre-alpha, and you look at the character creation, I have not seen any MMO being close to this in
oh
details.
no, no. Well, at the current stage it's in, or that it's supposed to be in, I personally haven't seen anything that like, looks this
Well,
smooth. There is like a thing here, an issue here and there. I believe there's like a section when they put into the warmonger or when they get a new character where the model isn't gripping the weapon properly,
mm,
and then it just like closes its hand or snaps or something. It might be a bit hard for you to find the scene that showcases that, but that's extremely minimal compared to the level of animation polish that it has for something that's supposedly an alpha.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I think Eugene like and the team is definitely going for getting a game out which is on Blizzard's quality level. He
Yeah,
wants, he wants this to be not the, never say that, it's always doing bad things, but he basically wants this to be like the WoW killer. You're not the WoW killer, but you know what I mean. Like he wants the same quality as
to be
WoW.
something like a
Yeah,
AAA level of quality
exactly.
by their new studio.
Yeah.
I think there was like even I had funny to me, a discussion about this video a while after it came out, where a guy was asking if there was mustaches for the orcs, because when they showcased it, like say changing the facial hair options, it was only beards. This is like no mustache shows up, so it's quite a silly thing. I'm wondering if they actually even considered putting anything like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
in other MMOs we see orcs with very big like warbirds, like you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like so that would be
yeah,
pretty cool, like a shaman. Um, all right. So that was the news we got in August, but we actually got two news on the August free. Like we got two news at the same time. We got the character creation, and let's switch scene. We actually also got the news back in August that they are doing another delay,
yeah.
and with that delay, we also got a little like video on 1.5 minutes where they basically, Eugene is talking, and we see some small in-game stuff. Do you remember much of what he said in this video?
I think it was they're not there, and they were having some infrastructure issue or something. I don't believe they went into very much detail, and then the new date ended up being they
December.
think yeah, they think they were going to be done by October, but they were extending it to December
Ah, yeah.
to just to be sure, because they had delayed 3 times before that. And yeah, so
That
we know what happened by now, but
I mean,
it happens,
I
I
mean
guess.
that quote is just making it even more funny, right? Like, we're pretty sure we're ready in October, but let's just to do December to being gay, like just to make sure.
Yeah, well, it happens, I guess. This day, like the 25th to 28th, was actually the only CBT date that I actually thought, like for sure, that they were gonna.
Mm,
Well, I'm not say for sure, but like high, like 90%, 80%
yeah,
on the side of, oh, they're actually gonna hit it. But because they went so detailed with the date, then they
yeah.
never done that. They've always given like a date range, and this time they gave a specific day, but it didn't happen, and that's okay. A lot of people got upset, but that's pretty much happened with every single delay. And then new people come in and replace the old people. Not to say that it's a good thing, or that it doesn't matter
I
in
mean,
the sense of the present. Because like
uh,
in the present, it does matter to some level, because you get some people are leaving and are tossing the game to just the back of their mind, and I'm not gonna check this again. Like they've been mistreating me, etc., etc.
well,
How they feel,
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, I don't really. I personally feel like it doesn't matter because, of course, some people like the few people who create the server, they're like,
yeah.
I'm angry at this game now, but we all know once this game come out, once it's gonna be like top
The,
5 games on Twitch, people see the game constantly, they're gonna download
I,
it.
I, I'm not gonna say top five. I'm not like gonna say I'm on the band of middle ground where it has the potential to be something unique, but I'm not going to be going at this stage saying that it's going to be the next big thing, or and the next one of the big
No,
things.
no, what?
But
I mean, the first 2 weeks the game is out, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like on top 5 because people like Tobally, Asmongold, Force, all those people, they're gonna play this game, they're gonna try it out like they will do with Lost Ark, they're gonna try it out, play it, and then after 1 week they probably gonna get bored of it, and then it will only be us hardcore people who still plays it. Uh,
yeah,
even
we'll,
even even the Albion online, when they release new expansions, it actually goes to like top 10, but then after 1 week it just goes down again to like top 50.
we'll see. I guess we'll really see, because the thing with the like Twitch streams and like being a top 5 most viewed and the likes is that it's not a reliable like metric for anything, because any one big streamer can swing that position like massively at the flick of a key press, where they just change the game that they're under for their stream.
Just look at Final Fantasy, what Asmongold did.
It's just it just isn't a reliable thing, and yeah, you can use it to some degree, but it's not something I would use for popularity tracking or comparison with other games in the same area. But
Uh,
either way, my stance on it,
uh,
on the communication that they had with the delaying, and if the people left, some people left because they got angry at it, which I can understand. I understand their point, but my stance personally is that ultimately this communication and these delays are not going to, or like the lack of communication rather, are not going to matter in a meaningful way for when the game is actually properly ready to get launched,
mm,
because people will look at it or will try it. A
yeah,
lot of new people will, or the new people keep coming across the game and like joining, and a lot more will notice the game when it launches because there isn't anything out there for them to notice it now, and
yeah.
you still get new people coming in. Um, Not to say it's a good thing to be losing people now, because well, it's never a good thing to be losing people, but it's not really a state where you
Nah,
can be upset at them.
no.
And
I agree. Everything they do right now doesn't matter. It's once the game is out, everything will be forgotten.
it's at least majority of people it will. It's after the game is out that
That matters.
the type that it starts to matter.
Like
Uh,
look at New World. Like the launch of their game was so bad that even a lot of people they refunded the game and never gonna try it again. And
yeah,
and what I mean with bad is like the people who actually got in on the server that worked perfectly, but like me and rest of the people I know who were gonna play it, the queues for that game to get into the server was like insane. Like I think I couldn't play the game for like the first 3 days. Same thing with Endwalker Final Fantasy new expansion they just released. They basically right now you can't buy the game. Like if you're a new player, you can't buy the game because they and that the problem with them is they can't increase the server because they basically have their servers down in their mom's like basement, so they need to like
yeah,
get physical hardware to upgrade it. Where Amazon, they was just like more power. Well, we have all the power we need, and they just kind of like upgrade slowly.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure Corepunk is going to be a game where they can also do that because I've already we can see in the character creation video they have servers in Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure that's not their own server. That's probably something hosting service.
yeah. It is because I believe the European one the server was supposed to be in Amsterdam. I believe they said that at
Yeah,
some point somewhere. But yeah, either way, I'm expecting, and I'm with like a high 90%. I'm expecting to be server issues at launch because that's just par for the course. You either have server issues at launch and like deal with them then, and try and not create too many extra servers, because down the line you're gonna have the issue of merging that
yeah.
servers. Um,
And
so you either
that's
yeah
what New World is doing right now. They're merging and
yeah.
merging and merging.
So you either deal with the issue at the start or you deal with the issue later,
Yeah.
um,
I
which there's a debate of what is actually better and can go
I
both ways. In honesty,
I honestly think I have never seen an MMO, go live successfully. Like I don't think it can be done.
yeah. I'm not gonna go as I don't go as far to say that it can't be done because my knowledge isn't as deep to be able to confidently say that, but
Well, I actually have
it's
to
very unlikely.
I have to admit all the best launches I've ever seen in all MMOs is always actually World of Warcraft. When their expansion releases, their queues are like relatively small, but they also cheating like because they have like tons of layers in each server.
Yeah,
So, but that's the same Lost Ark is gonna do next month. They also have tons of layers in one server, so it's basically one server and thousands inside. But yeah, we'll see.
but we'll see for sure. It's just a matter of waiting, however long that takes. But
Hmm.
eventually we'll get there. Eventually, people have been waiting. A lot.
Yeah.
Some of them will like it. Some who won't. Um, some people that forgot the game will come back and like it. Others just don't care about the game.
I mean, once the game goes live, we're probably gonna sit in Ukraine and enjoy a whiskey with Eugene at the same time. So
We'll see about that.
Eugene, you have to invite us. Okay, so should we go to the next news?
Oh no, there was a thing I forgot on the last dev video where you get a glimpse on a background shot of some like UI screens, like inventories and talent trees and such. So while they so there's actually four and a half pieces of information that they did, because there was also that spotlight on the MMORPG subreddit that they did, which is a small article that the devs did themselves and posted there, where they did a description of what was in the game, and I believe in there they announced we'll get to it, but they announced like a new feature that we're very excited about in there. We'll get to it in a bit. But in that post, they confirmed that we went from 9 talent trees that we got to see in the game trailer at the very start to 10. And in this video that you're showing now, there was a screen where you could see that there were 10 talent trees, and this happened before. Like, this video came out before that post saying that they had 10 now. We don't know the name of the 10th one because you can't really see. It's like blurred it's very blurry in that dev video.
Okay.
But if you see it now, you're showing it there.
Yeah, we can see
like
he's like developing the let me just like get it up. But yeah, he's like developing. Here we go. There we go. So he's like he is sitting with it. What we can see, he's like making them.
Yeah, so there is the thing of they look a lot simpler. Again, we don't know if this is actually what's going to be like in the game, because you can see an inventory screen right there, and in the alpha build, which was supposed to be the latest alpha build, we haven't seen that screen. Like, the inventory was still like a normal inventory, like you've seen in the old videos, where just a small pop-up opens with the bag, or a small pop-up opens with the character and what's equipped to it. So it doesn't actually show like a big screen-looking inventory like that.
Well,
But that could be parted. I don't know. Like,
couldn't this actually be like the console version of the game?
maybe,
Because
but
this is what Elder Scrolls Online is doing. Like for the console version, they have like full screen interfaces, and for the PC, it's more like smaller.
yeah, it could very well be. But basically, it was in there, like in the next shot or something, shot or before one, where you see the new look of the. That's the thing. That's a shop. There you go. That was that one. If you see the talent trees, so they do look a lot different than the
Yeah.
ones we've seen in the game trailer. So the game trailer ones looked more like in the old masteries in League of Legends, which I'm not sure if you're aware of them, but basically it was you go from top to bottom in filling them up, and each section has 2, 3, or 4 like circles, like talent spots you pick from, and you need to get a certain amount of points in the higher tier to unlock the next one, and then some tiers you pick only one of them and go down. So functionally, it might be the same thing, just extremely like different looking, but it seems that there's only 3 per tier, and not like in the trailer where some tiers had 4s, another ones had like 1 or 2. So it seems that every tier has 3 according to that picture, which we don't know if it's the actual how it looks now, how it got reworked now, but
No.
it looks more streamlined than the original ones. You might still be able to put several points in them, but who knows? Who knows if
It
you can pick more than one in one
Yeah,
in a line?
it could be like what they have in World of Warcraft right now, like three on each row, and you only can pick one.
Yeah,
Have you
could be something like that.
in this shot we're seeing right now? And I know, of course, people on Spotify can't see it, but on the other screen of the we're basically looking at the developer with two screens where we can see telemetry on the left screen, and on the right screen we can actually see he has like a news article up that he's working on, and it basically says Corepunk news video 34. That has to be a troll.
I'm wondering if that's the ID of the article, because I think like the official articles are currently on like 40 something. I'm wondering if it might be maybe it's that, but who knows?
Hmm.
Maybe they just have a lot of videos ready and just a lot of articles ready. They just don't want to release them.
Could be they have the article ready, but not the videos yet.
They have already 30 something articles to post.
Okay, so you ready for the next one?
Yeah, actually, before we get to this one, if you go to the MMORPG subreddit, because there was that I was talking about earlier, there was that small like spotlight about the game that the developers did, which it wasn't major, like nothing major for the people that were following the game already. Uh, we literally only got one or two tidbits of new information. Majority of that was just a rehash because the point of that spotlight was to attract like new people, to expose the game to new people. Which, okay, I didn't see much of the point of it, but maybe they thought doing that was okay because they maybe were still gonna make it on the December date for the CBT, but then they couldn't make it. Who knows? Like, we'll never know. But the intent of that was to attract new players and not feed new information to the people following the game already. But still, we got to see that they did that change of loot falls on the ground like Diablo 3 and other typical RPGs. So it's not just like interact with a dead body and you get a pouch, or you get a pouch with stuff in it. You actual items pop out of chests, or enemies you kill and fall on the ground. Which if you can see on the next GIF, you see he opens it up and just a burst of items fall on the ground, and they were very excited about that. Um,
Yeah,
you
so
can sort of
if we have to like explain it totally detailed, so if people have who's listening on Spotify, if you play Diablo, when you kill a monster, it's like exploding out with items. But here it has like a very odd bouncing effect. Like when you loot it, it just basically jumps up in the air and jumps into you.
yeah, I think that's the usual. Like I believe Titan Quest, which is an old ARPG, has that style of animation.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe there's other Grim Dawn. I believe it's also like that. I think it's fairly common of a animation style of picking up items from the ground
Okay, I played
in
too much
ARPGs.
Diablo because that's just like
It,
instantly boom, 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 boom.
yeah, it's not all of the RPGs do that, but there's some that do it in that manner. Um, I think Divinity Original Sin 2 does it like that as well.
What about Path of Exiles?
That I'm not sure. Can't really remember,
I think that one is also
but
like instant, like Diablo.
it might be. But
Okay.
yeah. The other thing with it is that you can sort of see the warmonger of the party collecting. Looks like he's collecting stuff on his screen. It's because it's things that you can't see. They're invisible things on the player recording the GIF. But that does bring me a point to me personally of are the loot how is the looting gonna work in the open world when you're in a party? Because if you just look at the GIF, then you would think it's just personal looting and you can't see the loot of other people when you open a chest. And that's pretty reasonable and that's completely fine and it could maybe be like that now, but an old quote from the game designer, the lead game designer, was that they had several
Yeah. Group loot,
looting
master loot,
modes.
free for
Yeah,
all,
they had all
round
those types of
robin.
looting. So my question is, with this implementation of the items popping in on the ground, what loot modes do we have now?
Yeah,
Um,
I it's just a must. It needs to have a mode where I don't need to be faster than you to looting, and we have to discuss after every boss who gets what. Like it
yeah,
needs something where we get all equal.
because I can understand it on dungeons because most of them are instants, so you could make differentiations there. But then how do you do it in the open world, where that GIF I believe is in the open world?
Yeah,
How do you do it then? If you do it personal? Uh, do other people that come in that are not in your party can't see anything there? Um, if you get something rare, how does that go? Do only one person gets it? Can you use need greed in the open world? Maybe by default everyone sees their own items that pop out, but you can choose a mode, and even though only I can see this sword, or only I can see these shoes, when I pick them up, it does the roll call. Maybe it's gonna be like that. Maybe just like overcomplicating it, where even though I'm the only one seeing it, if I pick it up, it does whatever loot mode that we have selected. So if it needs to roll, he rolls. If it doesn't need to roll, I just get it. If it whatever,
mm.
maybe it's just that, and I'm worrying. I'm worrying, not really worrying, but I'm questioning myself for nothing.
Well, I mean, we're gonna see it. No matter what, it's only gonna be better than what Crowfall released with. That was basically that that
What
was
was it?
that. Me, I remember me and Blackout Gaming. We are so angry on it because it was basically like every time you kill something, it was just like the first person to loot it, just get everything. So every time we had to like grind it open world for 1 hour, we had to go back to the city and say, okay, how many marks do you have? How many marks do I have? How many gold do you have? And we had to like write down on paper how much gold we had before going out and grind, so we could
Christ,
equally get what we looted. Um,
that is
but
a
they got group loot now, so took Crowfall defending them. They got group loot now, but they released basically without group loot, which was like,
I'm sure there's players that are okay with that, but it's the vast majority, I think, are going to be not happy, or
mm,
were not happy with that decision.
yeah. Okay,
So okay, we can move on to the other video.
will you let me go there now?
Go for it. Go for it. I'll let you go there this time.
Okay, so the next new we got was a new gameplay video where they actually showed us open world PvE combat, and basically they're farming camps in a group of, was it 4 people? Yeah, 4 people, right?
4 people. 4 people. Yeah.
Okay.
A ranger, a destroyer, a blast medic, and a legionary.
Yeah, and for people on YouTube, they will be seeing it in the background and listening. Well, it's 4 people grinding camps, like camps like in League of Legends. It's basically camps like that, monsters in a position where they just stand together and you kill them and they get treasures. Um, so I'm gonna start on this one, and I actually enjoyed the video. It was a bit, maybe a bit repetitive. It's basically just like grinding, 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 grinding. But I still feel like they showed it like a good view on how the game is. Also, I like that every time they release a new video, the interface has changed drastically, I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
but
There
but
is them like
but this time I like this one. I like this one. That like definitely.
I like. Yeah, I like this one as well. Basically, they started off from the ones we've seen. They've started off with the special skill in the middle of the on the bottom middle of the HUD between the skills and the items. Then they changed that where they removed it and they've placed the like a zoom in of the character, like
Mm,
3D model, like animations as such. And then now they basically have both, where they have the special skill back in the middle, and they move the character 3D like zoom in model to the left of the skills. To basically looks like a more enhanced version, customized version of League of Legends HUD, where you would have the little circle with the character face, the champion face you're playing, on next to the skills on the left of it. On this one, you have is the model, the actual 3D model that like talks and moves its mouth as the character screams. So
Yep.
it was a bit of a big evolution. So we'll see when the next time we see gameplay if it's still the same or not.
Like, have you thought about like if we look in the bottom of the action bar, we can see like you can have no, that's actually just if you have like a one hand, if you have a one hand and a shield, then of course both of the weapons is gonna be featured down there. I was just for a moment thinking that it was like Guild Wars where you could switch between weapons, but that's not how it is. I forgot that.
Mm,
No, so it's basically like because right now it's just you two times two-handed, but that's because of course it's two-handed weapon is both filling out one a main hand and offhand. So forget what I just was about to say.
yeah,
But yeah, it's fine video. I just feel like they could do like a lot more of these videos because I don't think this video required much since they just basically killed groups after groups. But it would be nice to get more videos like this where 15 minutes of dungeon gameplay, 15 minutes of crafting, 15 minutes of
yeah.
what.
I've got a lot of things to say about this video. Not all of, not like bad things or like video bad, developers bad or anything like that. Um, but for me being quite active on the Discord, the time this video dropped and like the close period of time after it dropped, like a week or 2 weeks after it dropped, I was in several discussions around it. Um, most of them good, some of them eh, and only really one a bit more negative, not from my side at least, uh, of being negative about it, but starting from when it came out late, very late in the day, and that's at this time it's to be expected, which is their usual release of news and videos and such tends to be very late in their Ukraine time, which even in UK time, England time, it's just midnight, 11s. So that's quite late, and you could argue, oh, they're doing it, releasing it in um, US time, but that doesn't really make much sense when the developers are in Ukraine. I don't see the benefit of staying up until 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever it was to release something just so it releases on what, mid-afternoon US time, whatever it is. Um, but it wasn't the time it came out that was the issue, because that just was expected by that time unless you were a new person that didn't know about it. Usually when they say releasing a video in this date, in this day, expect it towards the end of the day. Sometimes it might even be in the early morning of the next day. That's besides the point. I'm going off on a tangent here, but while we were waiting, they've shared, the community manager Nerys shared a picture saying that we were almost there, just like finishing recording. So they literally recorded some or all of this video um, in the day they were releasing it. At least that was what we got from the message and the picture of several developers sitting around like the desks recording the video within the computers. Um, it's very possible because the video itself wasn't heavily edited. There was no commentary. It was what 5, 6 jump cuts. It was basically 5 or 6 videos just sliced together, one after the other. Like you said, it was a bit repetitive in the sense where they were just going around killing similar, not similar, pretty much the same mobs, just in different numbers. So this group had 2 archers and a tank. That one had 2 berserkers and 1 archer. Blah blah blah. So there was complaints around that, but well, it happens. It happened. Whatever. Moved on. Video came out. Was quite happy about it. Some people were disappointed because of the things that you and I stated before of what actually was in the video, and I can understand that. But in honesty, I enjoyed it a lot for what it was, for being able to see the details of the world. And you're going to say something. I know I tend to go off
No, no,
talking
no, no.
along.
It's. I mean, and I get it. Okay, people want to get mad at it. Fine, get mad. Like I'm just like more. I'm just happy we actually see something, because they're
Yeah,
not demanded. They're not like they're crying to actually show us anything. They could just be like, "Well, we're not going to show you anymore for 6 months." But
yeah,
but at least they use resources and people late night to record something for us because they were like, "Okay, we really have to show them something." So and still it this video shows us that this is the game we want. Like, it's basically showing us it's slow paced MMORPG where it's more about tactical instead of like if you compare this gameplay right now with Lost Ark. Like Lost Ark, they will
they're,
already be flying in through
they're very
thousands of
different.
zombies and like just
Yeah,
in big effects everywhere. Where this is more like, okay, go for this guy now. Okay, this guy's using this spell now. Okay, this spell, like, it's tactical like League of Legends.
yeah.
So I could just imagine PvP is gonna be so fun because it's gonna be so skill based. I know, okay, Lost Ark is also skill based, but it's more be where you are now instead of like
It is. They're very like different games. They are different games, and
yeah,
you can discuss it in like the macro side of. They're both MMORPGs. They both have dungeons, PvP, blah blah blah. But at the core of it, how you play it, the feel of playing it
yeah.
is different because you play a lot slower here than you in Corepunk than you play in
Uh,
Lost Ark. In Lost Ark, you go a lot
boom boom.
faster. It's just a different feel of a game than Corepunk.
I mean, from watching this video, I guess this gameplay is close to what Albion is. Because in Albion, you
I
also click on your
think,
target.
yeah,
I mean, you also click on your target, it attacks that target, you cast an AoE on the ground. I mean,
it's the normal MOBA type combat.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Albion and Corepunk has definitely like taken inspiration from Warcraft 3, because this could literally be Warcraft 3 with better graphics.
Warcraft 3, like League of Legends, Dota, basically all those MOBAs, and well, Warcraft 3 isn't really like a MOBA, but
Yeah,
all
yeah,
those
but
styles of games
but
and
you know
control.
you're like Dota came from like Warcraft and
Yeah,
the whole history. So
yeah,
so yeah, of all the MOBAs that are out right now, when I play like League of Legends and Dota, I definitely feel Dota is more like this because Dota is just a bit more like slow paced, like compared to League of Legends.
yeah. They did mention that they were aiming for like a responsiveness and game. I forget the exact words, but it was responsiveness and something else between League of Legends and Dota,
Yeah,
because League of Legends was maybe a bit, by their words, maybe a bit too fast for an MMORPG.
and
Um,
and League of Legends can be very fast, like especially like
yeah,
an end game where everyone is high level. It's very like boom 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 boom. But
because
but
yeah, it's made for that, because
yeah,
you made for finishing the game
but
basically.
but not compared still to Lost Ark. Like Lost Ark is still
Yeah,
another level.
Lost Ark is the typical ARPG,
Yeah,
like combat, like Diablo 3, going Mach 4 across the
yeah,
map, just killing half the world as you go through, which is very fun on its own, but yeah, again, a different feel. And as we were on this discussion, like League of Legends and Dota, they're on mechanical points that you might be able to see in the video. which was some of the other discussions that was in the days after this video came out. There is this first video. This video is the first one where you actually see some level of turn rate on the characters. Turn rate, for those that don't know what it is when you're walking in one direction and you click to move back like 180 backwards, your character doesn't instantly snap, like turn around instantly. It rotates at a certain level of speed to be facing the new direction that you click to move. So that's a turn rate. The turn rate is how fast that happens, that turning happens. So in League of Legends, it's pretty much close to instant if it's not instant.
Yeah.
So you click to turn, any turns it goes. You don't. The character isn't doing a wide turn, and on moving alone, you don't really feel an issue with that. Or you don't notice anything with it that affects the gameplay. But in combat, you do feel it, because to auto attack an enemy, and you right click on the enemy to attack it, like to throw an arrow at him or smack him with a sword or whatever, the character has to turn all the way first to face the enemy to be able to hit it. So sometimes that's a little bit of extra time before the attacks goes out and connects. So in Dota, it takes a bit longer, because of the turn rate. While League of Legends, it turns around instantly and attacks right away. So without getting too deep into actual like kiting and all that stuff, and how that turn rate actually affects those mechanics, this was the first video that we've seen turn rate be introduced in Corepunk. But it's a weird style of turn rate from just looking at the video, because it seems that, unlike Dota, pretty much no skill at all that any of the specs casted was affected by turn rate, as in the character had to turn around a bit first to shoot it. So I think a lot of characters in Dota have to do that, even with the skills, where they have to turn first before they throw out their projectiles. While in League of Legends, it's they snap and throw it out right away. In here, it seems that in Corepunk, from the video, it seems that skills work like League of Legends, where you turn around right away and cast them, or at least the skills we've seen, and auto attacks work like Dota, where you have to turn around fully and then release the auto attack. But it doesn't look like Dota's turn rate, in the sense that it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a fixed turn rate. It's extremely fast sometimes. Sometimes the character does a 180, very, very fast. Other times you notice it turning properly to do an auto attack. Sometimes the character snaps where he does a turn like instantly without doing a proper turn rate. It's weird. I know I've been like rambling a bit on about it, but visually, without playing it, it looks like a weird mix of both.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. While you're talking about, I was like watching the video we're seeing right now, and I can definitely see what you mean. Like normally walking, it seems like there's like not instantly moving around, but like the character, like it looks like it's moving in small circles.
Yeah.
But when they use spells, it definitely looks like it's just like snapping.
So it is definitely a question that how the game's gonna feel when you get to play it, because turn rate matters of how the game feel. Some people don't like Dota because of the turn rate, literally because they feel that it's slower, and that the character, it takes time to react to do what you asked. So it definitely is something that will have an impact on what players like enjoy the game, because there are people that could be drived away from the game due to turn rate. So that is a thing. But we'll see if this weird visually looking hybrid system, if it is actually a hybrid system, if it feels nice to play. So we're gonna have to wait and see about that. Outside of that, I believe we've seen some new status effects in there,
Yeah,
like the icons
yeah,
from
I
certain
mean,
skills.
and still compared to the other 15-minute video, it's also limited how much new we got,
Yeah,
because that one is already seen, and yeah. But still, it's nice getting more videos. I hope we get more in the future.
it is. It is very nice. Basically, you can't really complain about what you get in the sense that it's better than nothing. But again, I also understand the other side of the argument of they only give you this. Like you're happy. You're what's the word? I'm trying to find the not really the metaphor, but like the sort of the saying of you've been conditioned to be happy with the scraps that we get,
Yeah,
where we haven't gotten anything for, so we don't get anything for long periods of time, and then we get something, and it doesn't matter what it is, we would be happy. It's like I can understand that side of things, but it from person to person, different opinions, people think differently. So as long as there isn't money being asked,
definitely.
it really doesn't matter how they do it.
Yeah, same. And that's also what I say to people. Like, they don't owe you anything. Like, they don't owe you a single thing. They can basically do what they want, because it's still only I mean, the game could be theoretically be cancelled tomorrow. Like,
Yeah,
we ran out of money, so yeah, we're just gonna shut it down.
hopefully that doesn't happen. But
Okay. Are you any last comments on the video, or should you go to the last update?
I think there was like one more thing on the video, but I'm trying to think about it. I can't really remember it, so I don't think anything important. Um, there was
It's
one funny side thing where you got to see I believe it was on that one. You got to see a hover over an item with an artifact with a skill, where the skill was to turn an enemy into a turkey.
yeah.
We we sadly didn't see it being used, but it's a funny skill to read. I wonder if it's just a dev thing or if we will actually see it in game.
Mm. It has to be there, because it's you could basically do that in World of Warcraft 2, where you can sheep people.
Yeah, it's the polymorph thing.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah. So that would be
Probably gonna
cool.
be there. It's probably gonna be there in some shape or form. But yeah. Oh yeah, I remember where it was. There was some not controversial. Just gonna say controversial because I like the word controversial discussions around the aggro system in the video, because the group wiped a lot. So there was some people saying that it was just devs were bad players. It was a bad group of players. Originally, I was on that side, but then someone else shared the opinion of if they were good, if they were playing good, then it would defeat the purpose of the video, which the purpose of that video was, and that they told us what the purpose was to showcase combat and PvE, like their mobs. So if they were playing properly, they would just wipe out like the mobs, clean them in a more efficient way, so you really wouldn't see it. You wouldn't have like a fun video to watch. Maybe not fun's maybe not the right word, but you wouldn't be able to see the mobs being showcased if they were being cleaned efficiently, like all funneled into one place and then all AoE down, whatever. But yeah, the discussions were around. It seems extremely hard for the tank to hold aggro. Um,
I I have a feeling this game is gonna remind a bit, from what we just have seen. Like, we seen the talent trees, like the spells that the healers got, and like the healers doesn't have many healing spells. The tanks doesn't have many taunts. Like the Warmonger, basically the only way he can taunt is by throwing his spear. And then what was the more? It was not just throwing the spear. You had to do one more thing.
You have to do the Q first, where at least it's only the Q currently that we know about that can apply the status effects of vulnerable,
Ah, yeah,
and the Q is a small, like we smash around the warmonger,
yeah,
and then if you hit someone that's vulnerable with a spear, then you would taunt.
yeah. And
Yeah,
already there, it's gonna be really hard to taunt 5 monsters, and because else then the game needs to have like additional threat,
yeah,
like from maybe the tank passive talent tree we can maybe get. Uh, but I just have a feeling that this game is going to be ish like Lost Ark, where you can be a class that can be a bit more tanky, but you're not going to be 100% having all the aggro.
yeah. You still have to fend for yourself a bit because
Yes,
you're not
yes.
just
So,
yeah.
so, so you can always have aggro on the boss because you basically can use your Q and W on your boss all the time. So that's not going to be a problem. But on trash mobs like this, it's like every man for himself,
Yeah.
like Guild Wars.
I guess we'll really see like how it actually um, looks like when
Get the beta.
good or better players or players are playing properly
Players like
and
me.
not. Yes, a mighty Dvalin is playing. If aggro is actually as hard to hold as it's seen in this video, because again, they could be bad players. They could have just been playing bad on purpose to
Mm.
showcase the mobs like doing things. Who knows? We'll never know. People think there are people that think one side, there are people that think the other.
I'm,
It's
I mean, I'm only
make your
gonna
own judgment.
I'm only gonna play tank in this game, so I'm gonna find out fast.
I'm sure you will, and I'm sure the healers, if it looks like that, because the healer was the one that wiped the most in the video. Like he's the one
We
that died a lot of times.
we also see the healer like a lot of times go in front, like he really wants
Yeah.
to tank this, and that's like why?
So yeah, it really is. You can't fully judge it of how it's going to be.
All right.
Next video.
Yeah, so before we skip to the next video, they in this article they actually also like gave us something. Of course, they also talk about it in the video, but just like to help us on the points, like they did this progress update on December. So we all expect to basically play the beta here, but instead of getting a beta, we got this,
Another delay.
yeah, another delay and a post and a video where they're basically saying hello, hello, hello. They're behind, so they need a few more months. They have talking about the milestones where they basically still are in a late state of alpha. Uh, but like, but as it says here, but all the core systems are almost there, and our milestone for December is run the performance test with the actual infrastructure that will be running beta later. So yeah, they're not ready. And also they showed us that the new website they're gonna make, like with the improved social aspects where you can chat with people, do more posts, stuff like that, is actually ready, but they don't want to like focus on it right now, putting it live because they want to focus on the game itself. And they also have stated that yes, they are doing radio silence right now because they just want to focus on game, and then later post nice things to us. So basically, they just
Well,
said,
yeah.
yeah, they're saying, yeah, we know we are silenced. You don't have to tell us every day in Discord.
I think they were saying it was once the CBT was out, it would be a lot easier for them to talk, and that was sort of my. That's always been sort of my thought process of um, I'm gonna wait until the actual CBT is out. Doesn't matter how many delays it takes to do like a more final judgment around their communication. When there's actually a product out there, like how do they communicate then? So that's what seems to be their idea of a process as well, of get a good product as good as they can, and then put it out there, and then when that's out there, they can go on marketing the game more and will do whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
So we'll
also
see.
imagine like Nerys. She's not really allowed to talk about the game until we get the game in our hands. So I also think the job for Nerys is going to be easier because then she can post whatever she wants. She can, as the community manager, she can post like screenshots of some funny stuff in the game. But right now she can't because of this.
Let's hope so. Like it seems weird. Like I really hope so. Like I'm not on the side of he's a bad CM or anything like some people would be saying on the Discord. Where I can understand, yes, a lot of games do give out like the CM gives tidbits out, showing like artwork, whatever, interaction with the community. Yes, I would like that. I don't think it's an issue with our current CM, but some potential like information lock, a super strict information lock
Hmm.
imposed on her because she's the second CM we've had. We've had uh,
Irene.
Irene, yes, Irene before, and it was similar. She talked a bit more, but there wasn't anything. It wasn't information. We weren't getting information or artworks or anything like that. And now Nerys talks less, but it's not like it's much less. It's not like the level went down from they communicated every week to they don't communicate at all. No, it was still rare,
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure. Like
yeah,
right now, I don't think she's doing like the community manager job. Like I mean,
yeah,
not that she's not doing it good. Like what I'm trying to say is like I think she's doing other stuff in the company right
something
now.
else. Yeah,
She's helping marketing, which probably maybe creating some nice stuff like that. So basically the team leaders have said, don't do community management right now. Don't talk with fans on the Discord. Focus on making the game.
because I think it's unfair to just say she's a bad CM
Definitely,
when
definitely. I have no blame to her. Like I'm if she really wanted to talk, well, I mean, no, that's the wrong side. The thing is, like, she's not allowed to talk right now.
I think that's the more um, sensible thought process now than just say, uh, oh, but I there are some people that say, "Oh, I don't know what's going on behind them, so I can only talk about what I see, and what I see is a bad CM." But you can't take it's not a black and white thing. You can't just say, uh, "Oh, I only see a bad CM." You have to get a little bit of a thought process on it. It doesn't make sense that we're on a second community manager and they both don't talk. Like, what we'd be on the third one now. It'd be the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter who they would get; it would still be the same thing.
Yeah,
It's not a community manager thing, but who knows? Uh, Regarding the actual video, there were some fun bits in there. On that shot, that's right there. If you pause it, you can see an android-looking champion ranger,
yeah.
which that showcases the body skin suit, like the body skin slot, which is a cosmetic slot that we've heard about, and we've seen a second example here. Like in the old 15-minute video for the alpha, we would see a champion destroyer, the two-hand sword guy, with an undead skin.
Yeah.
So we can see that there's some possibilities around here to change the race of your character. Not really the model dimensions. The model dimensions stay
Mm.
the same. They seem to stay the same, and it
It's
makes sense for them to stay the same.
it's more like
A texture thing.
yeah, like in Game of Thrones, if you are human, you look like this, but if you get turning into like an ice walker, whatever they call them, night walker, I can't remember, then you still keep your physical body, but you just change color.
Just a different texture type thing. So
Yeah.
it is very good because I know there's a lot of complaints of, and I'm sort of half about it, where they don't like the fact that classes are race locked, meaning that if you pick an orc, a warmonger, like whatever spec you pick, you need to play an orc. So it's good that there is this skin slot in place to at least allow some freedom with whatever types of skins that are available.
Yeah.
We have seen as well that that slot also takes in skins that aren't um, like a race change. I believe there was one, yeah, in the old 15-minute video, the one that we see the undead. We also see the player character, which is a ranger, and on that same slot was sort of like an undersuit, like it looked a bit like a bathing suit or whatever, like an undersuit, like an actual clothing, and not a race change. So there are different tiers of skins that can go into that slot, um, which does make me think a bit where if those race change skins are going to be like a cosmetic shop thing only, or if we're going to have the
Uh,
luck of
um,
being able to unlock them
I mean,
in
I
play.
see like Elder Scrolls Online already have this. Um, in Elder Scrolls Online, you can change the skin of you, like to like an undead skin, vampire skin, like lava skin, where you have like flames all over you, like earth. Uh, though I would say Corepunk is taking it to the next level, where you can see like basically if you look like you can see like the hand wrist on her is like changing into like screws. That's next level. Where in Elder Scrolls Online, it's just like changing this basically the skin texture.
Yeah,
It's basically taking the texture skin like in Minecraft, changing the texture and put it back on the body again. But here
yeah,
it basically changes some of the things on the character, like you can see like here with the hand. It's it's next level, but yeah, I'm sure it's well in Elder Scrolls Online you can unlock these by doing like achievements, campaigns, but also from the game store. But you cannot get the same from the game store. Like the game store has some Unix and achievements are on some Unix. I believe they're gonna do the same approach.
I hope so. It'd be very good because I would like to unlock something, and I would like to see how those race change skins look on, for example, on an orc or on the demon, like the Bane Reaper, etc.
Well, imagine if like let's say they release a new raid and not on normal difficulty, but on let's say in WoW it would be called heroic, in Final Fantasy it would be called savage. But if they do these hardcore raids and the last boss is giving you a skin,
That would be very nice. Actually, I would enjoy any kind of thing that would be like that because it's just good to. Because I would consider these race changes skins to be sort of something high, like to work for,
yeah.
because it can give you a drastic different look than just a different armor.
Yeah,
Um,
and it would be cool if like it was some kind of like themed with the bosses. Like if you
yeah,
imagine like some kind of void dragon was the last boss, then you get like some kind of like void skin, like
yeah,
dark skin with purple eyes.
it would be really nice. The because it gives customization levels with those skin types in it, in my opinion, goes up a lot more than just having armors. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and imagine standing like in one of the main capitals with the skin and just be like, yeah, I did the content.
yeah, just moving on. They're showing the website shots here, and while they're talking about the website, I believe I actually had a laugh here when I realized after watching a few times that when they showcase the forum part of like the new forum and like how you can click on a person's name and go see um, their post history, etc. Even like the account that was being used was actually my account from the forums, just like probably on a different database where all the names are changed. But I had a laugh with that because if you scroll, yeah, just let it go. You see latest posts, all those. When I actually paused and read that, those are my posts. Those are actually what I wrote, and like that picture is the one I like screen capped from the Discord. So I had a laugh there. It's showing up there, even though it was in a different name because it was probably a dev database. But that's nice. You can see like the post history, and you can go into the person and follow him, etc.
Ah, so
That's
so they actually doing a bit what is it called? GDCP, the thing where they protect your name.
Yeah,
Um,
GDPR and
GDPR, yeah,
things like
exactly.
that. GDP, yeah.
So they're basically taking all the live data, but then change it into some. Because I was looking at all these names, I was like, I
You
don't
don't
know
recognize any of them.
exactly. I was like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah, for a second I thought maybe it's the Russian side, but when I
Yeah,
actually read the comments, and it isn't the Russian side.
yeah, because he actually clicks on top posters, and
Yeah, that's
you
me. That's
should
my
give.
icon.
Yeah, exactly. That's you, and I would be like far down because I only post when I make videos. So that's no, it's actually
Shameless, the shameless plug.
well, it's actually that not that far because I have 100 videos. It's probably like I have like 100 posts then. But yeah, I'm like yeah, I'm using it in a bad way.
But yeah, just as a funny aside, I just like had a laugh when I actually realized it. There's nothing really important of discussion in here. It's just a funny like aside.
That
Uh,
that's
I'd,
ve-
s-
that's very good found. Like yeah,
yeah, because sometimes it's like I'm bored. I actually go and do a proper deeper look into like the videos, usually the more recent one, to try and see something that I hadn't noticed before. Um, Usually end up finding something that I just like overlooked, but it's always fun. It's always fun. I just had a giggle when I found that.
mm.
And I see there, yeah, you show up in there as well. We all show up in there later. The
Yeah. Just
famous
the
Christmas visit.
they're showing like all the old community page posts they have been doing and the video where they visit my house. I
You
wonder how
see,
many times that one is gonna be in the videos. Like because I mean, for Eugene and the team, this one is like it's a really good video for them to show. We have actually
yeah,
visited one of our fans.
it is a very good thing. I'm surprised like they actually did that. That's the first I've heard of like
No, it's not the first.
developers doing this.
It's not the first for me. I know Wildstar. They did it a lot. Like they visited. I remember I saw. When Wildstar was like first announced, they had two like so good community managers, Stephen
Yeah.
Frost, which works for World of Warcraft, I believe now, and the second guy I can't remember his name, but he was like so good, and they visited like all their fans and gave them presents and just
Oh,
like and even people like there was a mom where her son really wanted to play the game, but he sadly died in a war.
yeah.
So they actually visited her and gave her like a gaming PC for like 10k grand,
Jesus.
how much, and they just gave her the game and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know about it. That's quite something. But it's still always something good. It's good publicity,
Yeah.
but it's always very very nice. It shows a higher level of care than just well than just not doing it.
and, and I remember this one where they unboxed my cups.
Your little mugs in there.
I
Another
didn't
like
I didn't
plug.
expect them to record this. I was just like gonna send them cups and so they could just enjoy a cup of coffee in it. But then they like 1 week later, Irene, the community manager by then, she sent me this video.
It's always good. It's I know like this area, like this gaming, developing games can be very, very stressful in the sense that you're not just dealing with um, work, just like it's not just the company stress. And if you're working on something big, if you go online, you can see a lot of verbal hate towards developers, which usually you're in there, you're included in there, even though they might not know you, like you exist.
Yeah.
But I know it can be very taxing to just read those things when you just want to see some nice comments. And I think it's completely fine to be critical. I'm critical of stuff that I don't agree with, like on the game's direction or whatever. But at least there needs to be some level of respect because it's just very, very stressful. And at the end of the day, it's other human beings that are just behind the the screen, and
Mm,
it's sad to see that a lot of people just don't care about that because they don't know them. They don't. I'm never gonna see this person. This person is not gonna affect my life, but you're affecting someone else's life potentially.
mm,
And there's that. I saw a news post from earlier today from um, Yoshi P. He did an interview because he was asking people to stop like the verbal abuse online. I believe it was towards their like company or something, and there was a stance that he said where I think because people see others doing it, they think, oh, I'm not like the first one doing this. I can do it, and I can join in. Like it's a social accepted thing to do, and it's sad. It's sad. Um, it's very sad because it just doesn't. He doesn't help anything. He doesn't help making a game better. Um,
mm. Yeah, I know what you mean. And already now in the Corepunk Discord, it is getting more toxic by day. Just like back when the game was announced, it was just like a really good tone in there, like really awesome. But because of all the delays and stuff like that, it's just like gets more cringe in there. And I know they don't really want to do anything about it right now, but I definitely hope in the future when they get closer to the release and we get a hands on the game and so on, they also gonna do something about people who's gonna harass each other in the chats. I know, of course, we have the moderators right now in the Discord, but again, it's a Discord, it's a third party app. They don't really care about it because it's a third party, but I definitely hope they're gonna stand for harassment in the game. I hope they're gonna have like developers, community manager, whatever they are, sitting and monitoring reports and see if people are unfair to each other.
yeah, because I understand. Like I said, it's okay to be critical. It's good to be critical.
Yeah.
It's bad to be a yes man and just say, "Oh, yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine." But there's a time and place, and there's very little situations where verbal abuse um is not like bad. Um, if it's something like a situation, like for example, even in World of Warcraft, where I don't fully agree with like verbal abuse, and that's not good. There's some there's a certain point where the criticism uh you go higher than just criticizing. You go past that and you go into deeper ends where feedback of the people that play isn't taken into account, or um, the developers keep pushing stuff out that community doesn't want, just to like try and milk money out of us. That I can understand a lot more the frustrations of and letting out and slurring at people and such, because you might be like they might be killing something that is dear to them because it was part of their lives for a lot of years. But Corepunk, we're not in a situation, we're not in that situation at the moment. The game isn't even out. The game hasn't even been
Yeah.
played by people. Like, you're at the point where there's no justification for being like verbally abusing like people.
No, 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 no. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. You can't even complain about the game right now because you don't know how it feels. Like
You
if
haven't
people,
played it.
exactly, if all the people who like, oh, this game looks so slow. Like, well, what about try the game first, and then we can discuss if it's slow.
And then even those people, like those people are perfectly fine. Like I'm completely fine with those people. It's a valid criticism because, again, you don't have the game. What you can do is judge by what you see, and that's perfectly valid concern to have. And you can like respectively express it, and like the way you said it, for example, that's perfectly. It's a very respectful way of saying it because that's what it looks like to them. Like, is this really slow like this? Does it feel slow? Like, we don't know how it feels. Once you get to play, it probably feels better than just looking because you have
Yeah.
more stuff to occupy your mind with than just look at the screen. Um,
And that's what I mean. Like, I don't hope they're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna buy it because it looks slow. I I kind of hope like they're gonna give it a chance.
yeah,
But of course, if
uh,
they're coming from the Path of Exile slash Diablo slash Lost Ark world, and they expect something like that,
yeah.
well, then they have to pack their things together.
There's a thing of expecting something that the game never was meant to be,
Yeah.
and then flaming out of that. But it's a valid criticism to just respectively expose like your concerns of this looks slow or this looks clunky, blah blah blah. It's the other stuff where I think mostly at this stage it's not really around the mechanics or anything. It's always around it always comes back to being around communication and just calling them incompetent and etc. and they're bad developers, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. You can express the criticism of they know they have bad communication because it has been. I for example I've criticized that. I've been on that side where they're not good at communication. That's it. It is what it is. They're not good at communicating. Um, but there's no justification to just blow up and verbally abuse them
No,
because
no, no, no.
of it. Because you're not gonna get the game faster. You're not gonna get a better game by calling them names. It doesn't help anything. You can have your own opinion. You can express your critique, your opinion in a respectful manner. But again, at the end of the day, there's another human being on the other side that hasn't done anything to you, hasn't like even talked to you once, and you're sitting here throwing slurs at those people. Um,
Hmm. It's
for no reason, for nothing, just because you decided to invest time into following a game that you haven't bought, but just because you invested time, you think you're justified to
mm,
be going to those levels, and it's just not. It's not justifiable. You,
it's a funny case because I remember all the discussions like in 2021 where it was the opposite, where developers they were targeting the fans. Like some of the more famous streamers, they was really gonna like some of the games. I don't want to mention them, but they really attacked some of the streamers because they said something and they were like, and then they publicly on their Twitter pages like said bad
oh,
things about the streamers.
yeah.
Like, don't.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, what are you doing? It's not.
It's, and, and,
Um,
and it's especially worse for them because they basically, because if a streamer talks bad about a game, it's the streamer who trash talks. Okay, fine, the streamer is an idiot. But if a developer from a game trash talks people outside, then it's not the developer. Then it's the company who makes the game.
yeah. So, and it's not just that. It goes back to the same thing, respectful thing of why shit slinging. What's the need of it? What does this achieve? What sort of thing like do you hope to achieve with your life of being throwing passive aggressive statements or calling people out, like calling people slurs?
Mm,
Not calling people out because you can call people out for bad behaviors, for but verbally abusing or calling other people's names
yeah,
like from no out of nowhere. It's never. I don't know, that's just me. There's a lot of. I'm not. I'm not unique. I'm not special. I'm one uh, in a sea of other people, and that's just my opinion and what I think. And it's not a higher opinion than other people's because I'm not worth more than other people. But I just don't see the point. I don't see any rational logic for it
Uh,
besides being an edgelord.
but that's a thing we're never gonna get rid of.
Yeah,
There's always gonna be internet warriors.
it's always going to be a thing because everyone's different. Everyone has their own thing. Everyone thinks their own things, and just it's never going to change. It's a bit sad, but again, if everyone thought the same, then the world would be quite boring.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think like back to this video here. I mean, of course it shows small things, but we don't have to like cover all the small things they showed in this video. But yeah, I think we can agree on we're excited.
Yeah, I think they mentioned in there they were gonna run some friends and family and like
Yeah,
external QAs and some bot like alphas or runs to try and test the networking and see, because that was their main issue, I believe. They were having issues with like networking, netcode or whatever it was, that was stopping them from being able to have the CBT out. So hopefully those have happened or will happen and aren't just like the videos from before where they promise a lot of videos and we get one or two, with one of them being recorded literally on the day of release and all that, or being promised streams and nothing happens. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think we'll ever know. If they don't mention it, I don't think we'll ever know if it happened or not. Uh, but we'll see. All we can do really is wait, and there's no point being annoyed at it.
no, it's not gonna help. Okay, I think that's isn't that like covering pretty much up on where we are today?
Yeah, I think so. Since the last video in December, we are midway through January. We haven't heard anything. They didn't do a season greetings post or anything like that. Like in news post, that is. They did paste the Nerys did send one sentence on Christmas and one sentence on New Year, just for the like the season greetings. But since besides that, we haven't heard anything from them.
That's
In my opinion,
that's right. I didn't even think about they didn't make like a like some kind of funny post with Happy Christmas or something. Happy New Year.
yeah, in my opinion, we're not gonna hear from them until the end of the first quarter,
Yeah,
potentially the spring, which is a shame. I hope that's not the case. That's what I've been conditioned to expect by now from them, like 2 or 3 months of no communication, and then something. Nothing big always, but we'll see what we get. It's always better than nothing. And even though I don't agree with how they communicate, with how frequent they communicate, there's not much I can do about it. And I've always been critical of it. But all we can do is wait and see what comes out.
yeah, definitely. Okay,
And I think with that, I think we're pretty much done with this. I think this was a long one. Was that what, 2 hours?
it's 1 hour and 35 minutes currently,
Ah, still a biggie. Still a
but
biggie. It was a lot.
it's good because we have plenty of time we can use on our platform because we haven't done much recently. But yeah, I think that's it for Corepunk now. Then we probably gonna make like a special episode again once we get more about Corepunk. But for the next couple of episodes we're gonna release in the future, it's gonna be more about the generally MMO world, since that's the only thing that's gonna move on it. For next episode, I have some cool news about the next league, the new League of Legends MMO. But we're gonna
Oh, that's
save.
good.
Yeah, just they posted something,
I'm
and
excited for that.
well, we're gonna save it so people wanna have a reason to
No,
come
tell
back.
me now. Tell me now. I want to know.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you.
Fine. All right, fine. I'll wait. I'll wait another 7 months until we do the next episode.
Exactly. Like every 7 months. So people that get very excited. All right. So yeah, let's have. Do you have any last words before we say goodbye?
No, I think is we can hopefully get back to doing a weekly episode. I think was it weekly?
It was a week.
Week and a half,
It was
2
like
weeks,
weekly
whatever it
or
was.
yeah, between 7 and 14 days.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get back to doing it. My work eased up a lot. We're still like in support mode, like firefighting mode, well, since all these months, but it's been a lot less. It might pick up a bit more like this new year, but it's at a good state. I don't have to worry about the house as well, etc. So I'm good. I'm good to be back here, and hopefully we can continue with this without any personal issues.
Yep. And well, yeah, everyone, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
If you want to see more Corepunk content, you can find my YouTube on youtube.com/DvalinDK, and I have 111 videos about Corepunk. And if you have any questions about Corepunk, you can go to the official Discord, and you can probably always tag Alumio and ask him any questions you have.
Yeah, probably gonna be there pretty much almost all the time, since it's how I give my brain a refresher between like problem solving at work and other stuff.
Yeah, I've taken a break from this Discord, but I'm gonna come back. When we get more about the game,
Yeah,
so I can focus on other stuff.
it's very barren at the moment. The Discord,
Yeah.
It's only the usual like 4 or 5 people, and even most of them do only post every few days. So it's nothing really active. We do get a new person every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, more stuff. You'll get more active when we get more stuff. I have to wait for that.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, again, thank you for today, Alumio.
Thank you.
And for all
very
this,
happy to be here.
also
Finally,
happy for having
again.
you.
Yeah, I love doing these podcasts, and it's very fun. And this one was a closer one to my heart because I'm expecting, I'm hoping to enjoy Corepunk because it combines something that I really love that isn't out there yet.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. If it fails, it's a shame. It's a wasted potential, but we don't know that for sure. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it lands well and it lands running, and we have a great game for a lot of years.
Yeah, who knows? And maybe the next League of Legends MMO is going to be, a blast, and we're all going to switch to that. Who knows? Who knows? And,
okay,
yeah, I could keep talking. So we probably have to spare the people who's like sitting in the car and waiting to get into the family because now they just want to get out of the car.
We're dragging on and on. We're finishing. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a good, yeah. Have a
good whatever you're doing.
Bye.